Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. There you go. Welcome. It's Saturday morning. It's time for Illegal Formation. I am your host, Chad Bryan. With me, as always, is my man, TK Dandridge. TK, what's going on, man? How you doing this morning?
Doing all right, man. Been up since about, I want to say, maybe 6 this morning. Got a shower in, got to recap some of the games from last night. Ready to do some more of that with you today, man. What a day yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was I don't know, probably more fun than day one as far as first round went. A lot of crazy stuff. We'll get to it. I mean, we're definitely going to talk about some March Madness stuff. We got to Santa Clara game alone was maybe I'm remembering things with a little bit of nostalgia, but it just sort of felt like to me. I remember looking back, and I remember seeing like 4, 5, 6 of these games. The back and forth, whatever, just chaos, buzzer beaters, whatever, to send it to overtime to win it. I feel like I remember like 4 or 5 of those in the first round alone every year in the tournament. And I'm probably misremembering that. That's probably not accurate, but we just don't really get that anymore. So it was it was exciting to see that game. Not really end that way, but just get sent to overtime. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But we got plenty of other stuff to get to. We got to talk about TK. I don't even know if Kyle Whittingham wants to be at Michigan. It seems like there's some stuff that's kind of leaked out of there. Utah AD Mark Harlan is angry. They wanted Kyle Whittingham to give up some control. He wasn't about that. He wanted to stay at Utah. Now he's at Michigan. I don't know how you feel if you're a Michigan fan about this. It sort of seems like Whittingham wanted to stay at Utah, but they didn't want him there. I don't know. If you're a Michigan fan, I don't know. Maybe you'd take this the wrong way. I feel like if Ohio State hired a coach and I found out that he was trying to stay at his old place and things went bad, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I'm just not sure how I would feel, I guess. I'm not trying to throw shade at Michigan. I just thought this was a weird situation. And then we got to talk about a spring training stat line, TK, from the Guardians-Mariners game, starting with Logan Allen. I'm going to ask you a little bit. We'll get to that later. Let's get to this March Madness stuff first, because yesterday was man, I had to take a breath at the end of the night. I was like, okay, let me read about what happened. Let me just see if I remember all this correctly. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to jump. I'm going to put these snippets of the brackets up so we can kind of see. Here is the East. Let me take that banner off there so you can actually see. We'll talk about the games that happened yesterday only, I guess. Let's talk about day 2, and I guess we'll start right there. I mean, we know what happened with Ohio State, TCU. Siena almost took down Duke. Well, I wouldn't say Siena almost took down Duke, but they were in a good position to be able to do so. I think the back-to-back missed dunks, by the way, TK, if you watch that game, Siena missed back-to-back dunks on a possession, and it just felt like that was when the wheels came off.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I said to you the other night on primetime that their starters had played quite a bit. Looking back on that now, I realize, TK, all 5 of their starters played 40 minutes. They had a sub. They put one sub in. He was on the court for 2 seconds of game time. Okay, that's how much they use their bench. So you would have to think that I'm sure just lack of legs played a role in the end of that one. But let's get to St. John's, Northern Iowa. Not a ton going on here. 5 seed over at 12, 79-53. St. John's just blew Northern Iowa out. This is what you expect to see if you're a 5 seed, right? You expect to go in and handle your business, win by 20 plus, move on to the second round. They'll get Kansas, who quite honestly, maybe we should talk about this game because Kansas struggled with Cal Baptist. Kansas was up big. I turned the game off. I thought, okay, well, there's no need, Kansas is going to blow Cal Baptist out. And nobody really – I mean, they were up what? I think they were up almost 30 points on Cal Baptist at one point. And I think maybe sometimes we're guilty of, okay, we got this in the bag, whatever. You hit cruise control a little bit, but Cal Baptist came back and made it a game. You see there, Kansas, the 4 seed over the 13, 68-60. So being up by 26 and winning by 8. I mean, are you concerned at all if you're a Kansas? There's lots of Jayhawks fans out there. I mean, I was gonna say sometimes I don't know if some of these schools have, like, other than alumni, I don't know what the fan base is.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Kansas is gonna have a ton of fans. They're blue blood. Are you concerned at all if you're a Kansas fan this morning? Like, just thinking about the second round and moving on and what happened with Cal Baptist, does that concern you at all?
Well, you have to be concerned if you're a Jayhawks fan. Listen, this school that you guys, barely pulled away from, got an 8-point win the other day. But at the same time, this school, no, not many people have heard of this university before.
Yeah.
This is their first trip to March Madness, whatever, maybe. I could be wrong there, but to have that game be as tight as it was for a majority of that game, yeah, you have to be worried as a Jayhawks fan. And St. John's is coming off a 26-point win over NIU. They look to be rolling. They look like they want to make a statement in this year's tournament. So yeah, Jayhawks fan, you got a lot going on there. You got the Peterson boy that had 28 last night, but he played about half the season. That kid's ready to go to the NBA. So you have to figure out who else outside of Darren Peterson is going to give you some valuable minutes. And that game against Cal Baptist, granted they came out on top, that can't give you a great sense of security going into the next round. It just can't.
Yeah, I would think there would be some concern there. And you're right, by the way, that was Cal Baptist's first trip ever to the NCAA tournament. The Lancers are now 0-1 all time, but they've played in more NCAA tournament games than I've played in, so I'm not going to throw shade. Yeah, I mean, they came back and gave Kansas a heck of a game. Like I said, not a whole lot to talk about the St. John's Northern Iowa game, other than the fact that now Kansas is, I mean, we got the Bill Self, Rick Pitino matchup in round 2, right? So to get to the Sweet 16. St. John's looks like they're playing pretty well. I mean, I don't know. How do you see this one going? I don't know. I mean, as far my bracket's pretty much cooked. I've got a chance, I guess. I can do some things, but I'm pretty much cooked after the first round, like always. I'm about in the middle of our bracket challenge. And by the way, if you're wondering, according to ESPN's official numbers for their bracket challenge, there are 195 perfect brackets still remaining out there that are officially entered into the ESPN bracket challenge. So 195 people either, and there's always some pretty cool story every year. We always see someone who, I remember a couple years ago, there was a kid who was perfect all the way through the Sweet 16. And TK, the story was he was an autistic gentleman. Didn't really know a whole lot about college basketball. They just kind of gave him some information. He went and gave him the bracket, said, "Hey, fill this out," and he was perfect through the first 2 rounds, all the way through the Sweet 16. I remember that story sticking. That sticks out to me. But yeah, 195 perfect brackets remaining. I can assure you, I am not one of them. I will almost never be one of them. I thought this was interesting too, by the way. Of the brackets out there that have one loss, just one game that they didn't pick correctly. I told you this before the show. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would guess what game killed a lot of people, but almost 16 million brackets were taken down by Ohio State losing to TCU. So it was people picking Ohio State that got them in trouble. Listen, this is understandable in college football. But how you could watch this Ohio State men's basketball team this year and then expect them really to do anything in this tournament was beyond me. I thought they were going to win the game after they got down by whatever. They were down by 15 at halftime. They didn't play well at all. And then they came back and they were up, and I thought, man, they're going to do this. But they disappeared down the stretch. I think TCU was just a little bit too much in the paint, really. Whatever, too much in the post for the Buckeyes. So yeah, almost 16 million people would have had a perfect bracket other than Ohio State losing to TCU. So that's pretty wild, actually.
Yeah, that has to stink. But you think back to the TCU Ohio State game. TCU had the 3-pointer just going wild in that first half.
Yeah.
Then you think about the second half. everyone just about went silent on TCU for a majority of the second half. You thought the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, you got a lot of production from that front court, mainly Xavier Edmonds and David Punch. They were absolutely brilliant. David Punch got his, I think, 9th double-double of the season with 11 points, 14 boards. Xavier Edmonds, despite being in foul trouble late, he was the guy that actually scored the game-winning bucket layup over Devin Royal. Christopher Tilley was in the area as well. So you give a lot of credit to those guys down low for Texas Christian for keeping the standard what it was supposed to be. And, granted, they lost that 15-point lead, but in the end, they were able to get key stops at the other end. They were able to secure the glass. Their effort on the offensive glass was not brought up enough. I thought they did a wonderful job of controlling the offensive rebound. It looked like every other possession, either every other possession or every third possession, they were able to get an offensive rebound and do something with the basketball to be able to keep themselves in that game and ultimately beat Ohio State. So a lot of credit goes to those guys.
Yeah, David Punch with the strong words. I mean, listen, I don't really have a problem with confidence. I mean, some people were, I guess, a little upset with him for saying that they win that game 9 times out of 10. But I mean, he backed it up: 16 points, 13 boards, 3 block shots. I thought he played really, really well. He was like you said, he was crucial down the stretch as well. So I mean, hey, look, if you're going to talk, you might as well be able to back it up. And I think Punch did that. TCU did it. And it doesn't really matter what happens out of 10 because it was one game. They won 1 out of 1, so that's all that really matters. But yeah, TCU moving on. And we're going to move on to, I don't know, I guess we could talk about, this other half of the East or whatever. We've got Louisville and Michigan State matching up in the second round, and we've got UCLA and UConn. And listen, we got to talk about UConn. All of a sudden, I get that, like, listen, Arizona's my pick, right? But UConn and Furman. Now, Furman's not exactly, obviously, they're a 15 seed, okay? UConn beat them 82-71. I thought Furman played well. But my takeaway from this game was, how about Terrace Reed Jr., man? 31 points, 27 rebounds. Terrace Reed Jr., 6'11", TK. I haven't looked at a single NBA mock draft. I would have to think that he's somewhere near the top. I'm gonna look at this while you talk to me. Tell me about Terrace Reed Jr. in this 31 rebound game.
Well, hey, man, those are ridiculous numbers. That sounds like, I'm thinking of a UConn center from the past. That sounds like a stat line that maybe Andre Drummond would have put up at his time at the University of Connecticut. But yeah, this young kid here, Mr. Terran Reed Jr., in just over 35 minutes, was able to get one of the craziest double doubles that you probably ever seen. You think about how they were able to beat Furman, other than them being Furman. You didn't really get much outside of Alex Caravan and Braylon Mullet. They were the only 2 players to score in double figures. Obviously, Terry Reed had 31, Caravan had 22, Mullet had 12. You didn't get much production from anyone else on that roster. But a huge shout out to Terrace Reed for the performance that he had.
Yeah, projected second round pick, by the way. Projected second round pick. I just can't believe it. A guy 6'11". I mean, again, it's Furman. I know he didn't do this against Arizona, Michigan, whatever. Right. Some of the more physical teams, but I was just surprised to see 31-27 coming out of a 6'11" guy, and then see that, without really knowing anything about the NBA mock draft, seeing that he wasn't really mentioned in the first round. I mean, now I think he's maybe moved up to top 15, top 20, or whatever. But at one time, he was considered to be a second round pick. Okay, let me move on to what happened with UCLA, UCF? I picked UCF in this game, TK. This is another reason my bracket's cooked. I just thought UCLA had some weird issues. We saw UCLA's head coach eject one of his own players during a game in the regular season. I thought, you know what, UCLA comes in with baggage, and when you come into the NCAA tournament with baggage, sometimes you could easily lose to a 10 seed, right, as a 7, but they took care of business against UCF. Beat the Knights, whatever, 75-71. They'll move on. They'll play UConn. Does UCLA have any chance to beat UConn in this second round?
Ooh, I want to say yes. I absolutely want to say yes. Because these are two pretty good teams. Again, not necessarily dominant, but they do have decent enough rosters to where you at least have to think, okay, this is a team that needs to be taken seriously. Especially during March Madness when anything can happen. Me personally, with this UCLA UConn matchup, I want to go out on a limb here and give UConn a little bit of credit because I love, obviously, who doesn't love? I'm sorry. Give me a second here. having a brain fart right now. But yeah, we love UConn's head coach, Dan Hurley. Love him to death. He's put together great programs year after year. I have no worry in him being able to coach up a team to win this tournament. But at the same time, there's a lot going on in this tournament. You see, as every year, you see the upsets coming. I definitely think UCLA has a chance to pull off the upset, but it will be hard. It will be very difficult, and I do think UConn has a slight edge. Yes, I know they just beat Furman, but it was a double-digit win. I don't think you need to think too hard after that. But, obviously there are some questions. You just saw Florida just beat the living crap out of Prairie View A&M. It was like a 111-48 or something wild like that. So,
by the way, while we're talking about that game, real quick, TK, my primetime, my Inside Edge primetime co-host Eli Moon, promised us that Florida A&M that they were going to take out the Gators. By the way, I want to point that out.
Don't do that.
He guaranteed it. We got to have some fun with it, man. We got to have some fun with it. I told him, I said, listen, this is going to be leaning into it. I mean, it's fun to be wrong sometimes. Wow, I thought they were going to be the first NCAA tournament team to give up 200 points in a game. I really thought it was going that way for a minute.
It was bad.
I have definitely guaranteed some things and been wrong as well. It happens. But yeah, just wanted to point out. I thought that was funny. Let's move to that bracket. 114-55. There you see that final score. I don't think we need to break down that game. Not a whole lot going on there, other than just a ton of points being scored by Florida. I think that was, by the way, that was a Gators record for points scored in an NCAA tournament game. So, that happened. Oh, and that's at 14. Sorry, for that. And Iowa beats Clemson, so Big Ten team moving on, 67-61 there, 9/8. That was about the biggest upset of yesterday, by the way. That was a 9/8. So, again, Iowa over Clemson, not a whole lot going on. Florida, Iowa in the second round, Vanderbilt, Nebraska, pretty much what you would expect there out of that part of the bracket, other than just the mild 9/8 upset. I can't. That's a wash at that point. You would expect that Florida would probably beat Iowa and move on. The Nebraska Vanderbilt game, I think, is a little intriguing. I had McNeese again over Vanderbilt, so I went with the upset there and didn't get that one in my bracket. So another reason that I'm cooked. There are so many reasons I'm cooked. I'm gonna stop telling you all the reasons my bracket cooked, because there are many. But yeah, I don't know. One of the less exciting brackets to me, I guess, just Florida, Iowa, Vanderbilt, Nebraska to move on to Sweet 16. So we don't have to get too much into that if you don't want to do that. We got the VCU upset over North Carolina. We saw that. Illinois took care of their business against Penn. They won. Texas A&M beat St. Mary's 63-50. What else happened? Idaho, losing to the 15 seed, losing to Houston there, 78-47. Not a huge surprise there. But you see, the 11 and the 10 seeds moving on, and the other half of the South bracket here. So Yeah, maybe a little bit of a surprise. Do you think VCU or Texas A&M have a chance to beat, respectively, Illinois or Houston here in the second round, TK?
I actually have VCU beating Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois does not. I didn't really get that much from the game against Pennsylvania. They won 105-70. They should have won 105-70 because Penn is freaking terrible. There's no reason for you to lose to an Ivy League school, especially Penn. I could see if they were one of the good Ivy League schools, maybe a Harvard or maybe a Cornell, but definitely not Penn. Give me VCU over Illinois today. Texas A&M and Houston. Listen, Houston is a basketball factory. Once again, granted, it took a while for them to, get over the loss of Phi Sigma Jamma, but they look like they're ready to start that basketball dynasty back up again. I would not be surprised if the University of Houston Cougars ended up in the Final Four once again this year. So yeah, I'm going to take them over Texas A&M. Should be a tight game. Should be a really good one. But yeah, I'm definitely taking the Houston Cougars to pull this one off.
Okay. By the way, ESPN has ranked the remaining 32 teams in the tournament. They have VCU at 26, ahead of teams such as TCU, who beat Ohio State in the first round, ahead of Iowa, and ahead of Texas. By the way, High Point came in as the 32nd team out of 32 ranked of the teams that have moved on. And then, of course, number one, number two, I don't think anybody would be surprised to see the top three: Arizona, Duke, and Florida. Michigan sitting there at number 4, and then they have Houston at number 5. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all, TK, to see Houston slide into the 4 again. Really, not at all. So yeah, Illinois number 7, a couple of Big Ten teams coming in there. Purdue at number 8. If you're interested in that, you can go to ESPN and look at their rankings of the remaining 32 teams left that are trying to head to the Sweet 16 anyway. We are going to take a quick break. Man. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I want to remind you before we do that to visit our friends at allyrosefragrances.com. Listen, Easter's coming up. Candles, body mist. You're going to smell great. Your house is going to smell great. They make an excellent gift. It's perfect for spring. You're gonna have the window pretty soon, TK. It's gonna warm up, but it's a little warmer today. It's not so bad. It was like in the 50s yesterday. Rained most of the day here. My phone kept telling me it was storming. I didn't hear one roll of thunder. I have no idea what's going on with that. So even my phone doesn't know what's going on with the weather. But like I said, soon it's gonna be spring, right? Well, it is spring, but the weather is gonna feel like spring, maybe eventually. It's Northeast Ohio. You never know. But we're going to have windows open. This is like the perfect time to light a nice candle, get a breeze through the house. And why not go to allyrosefragrances.com and save yourself 20% off your first order by using our code InsideEdge20. As I said, they make great gifts. And pretty much, I mean, this is pretty much everything you want in a small company, right? Everything's handmade right here in the USA in Charlotte, North Carolina. Vegan ingredients, cruelty-free. No nasty chemicals, no big just, wholesome stuff, man. So please visit our friends at allyrosefragrances.com. And again, get 20% off your order by using our code InsideEdge20. That's capital I, capital E, and a 20. So let me take a quick 5-minute break. When we come back, we'll go through the rest of the bracket. And TK, I got to talk about this Kyle Whittingham thing before we get out of here. It's bugging me. I don't even know if he wants to be at Michigan or not. I'm not sure what's going on there. It was a weird situation. The Utah athletic director is for lack of a better term right now, TK is wilding out a little bit. So we're going to see. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's just take a quick break. We'll get to that. We'll get to all that. More NCAA tournament stuff, more March Madness coming up, and we kind of talk about Kyle Whittingham. We'll talk about Logan Allen if he's ready to go for the regular season. Rough stat line against Seattle in a spring training game. And I know it's spring training, guys. Sometimes maybe, Greg Maddox was famous for going out in the spring training start and throwing one pitch, one pitch, just throwing a slider or whatever it was, throwing a two-seamer, just trying to get it, location, release point, working on something. I get it. But man, this is a tough stat line. So we'll talk about that when we come back too. Give us 5 minutes here on the Inside Edge Network. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Illegal Formation. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning. We appreciate you being here with us. Obviously, we appreciate you being here. We couldn't do it without you. While I have you, please remember to follow us on all social media. I'll put that up, but you can find us on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on X or Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. We're at Inside EdgeNet on all socials. So please, we're a pretty grassroots movement, man. We're building things from the ground up, so we need support from you guys. We appreciate you being here watching. But if you're enjoying us, please give us a follow on all socials so you can catch, not only our live shows and our recorded shows on X and YouTube, but also a lot of short form content, just shorter videos on TikTok, on Facebook, Reels, on Instagram, things like that. So please follow us, and we appreciate your support. TK. March Madness, man. We got to get to we'll briefly go through the West. I guess we should probably go a little bit faster. It's just hard not to talk about this stuff. It's exciting, man. Let's take a look at this West bracket. Arizona, my team, not my team, but the team I picked to win the national title this year. They're not my team. I'm not going to sit here and claim them like I'm an Arizona fan. Although, shout out to my aunt who lives in Tucson. She's a big Arizona Wildcats fan. So shout out to her. I'm sure she's enjoying life right now. She's got a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And, us Buckeye fans have a first-round loss to TCU. So that's how it goes sometimes. What are you going to do? All right, day 2. What else happened in day 2? Anything? I guess Utah State beat Villanova. I won by 10. Another 9 seed over an 8. Again, that was about the biggest upset of day 2. Everything else happened day 1 here. I feel like Arizona is by far the class of this region. You never know. I mean, High Point could make some noise, although, as I said earlier, they are the 32nd ranked team out of the 32 left. According to ESPN at this point, with even though they had the upset over the 5 seeded Wisconsin, it seems like, man, Wisconsin again a little trouble in the first couple of rounds of the NCAA tournament. That's been a common theme just for the Big Ten overall. By the way, I did want to mention all Ohio teams are now eliminated. They're officially gone. So Wright State, Ohio State, Miami of Ohio, Akron, all lost in the first round. So unfortunately, there are no local teams for us to root for. Moving on. So we're forced to go with our brackets. I guess here I am. I guess I am a Wildcats fan from here on out. Anybody in this bracket or in this region, TK, with a chance to beat Arizona that you can see right now?
As far as beating Arizona, me personally, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Utah State could probably give them a run for their money today, but I'm still very much leaning towards the Wildcats on that one.
Yeah.
High Point may not be done making upsets this year. They might not be done now against the John Calipari squad in the month of March. That's going to be a tall task in itself, but I definitely think High Point is ready for the challenge. So that could be an interesting game. That could be a game that goes either way. But as far as anyone beating Arizona in this bracket, me personally, I do not see it.
Yeah. I like Arizona because they kind of play an old school brand of basketball. They don't shoot a ton of threes. If you really watch them play, they like to pound the ball down low. I think they can beat you in a lot of different ways, and I think that's kind of what drew me to picking them. I just kept their versatility, right, as a team. They get production in a lot of different ways, and a lot of it doesn't come from the 3-point shot. So while some teams live and die by the 3, we saw Miami of Ohio. Unfortunately, they did not live by the 3. Their first round game against Tennessee, they had shout out to Tennessee, by the way. They made it really, really tough and uncomfortable for Miami of Ohio. I don't think Redhawks really never got going. So unfortunately, when you're a shooting team that relies on touch and open looks, and you don't get any open looks, any touch on your threes, you're gonna struggle. So the Volunteers were able to take them down in that way. But yeah, Arizona, I just like that Arizona doesn't rely on the 3 at all, really. I think I may be wrong, but I think they take the lowest percentage of threes of any team left in the tournament. Be that what it is. If you've got a team that's more physical, that's bigger than them, I don't know who it would be. Maybe Michigan might have a shot just physically to do something to make some noise against Arizona. But right now, Arizona looks like I mean, they may be on cruise control. Let's head to the other half of the West bracket. Texas with the win, over BYU on day one. Gonzaga as a team that we're used to seeing up here now. I mean, Gonzaga made the transition from a mid-major, from a Cinderella to an upset, king or whatever. Now that they're consistent, top 3, top 5 seed in this bracket. So they beat Kennesaw State 73-64. That game was a little close, I guess. Miami winning by 14 over Missouri. It surprised me a little bit. I had Miami moving on, but I didn't expect them to go out and completely dominate that way. Then Purdue wins 104-71 over Queens. So we've got the round 2 matchup of Miami. Or I'm sorry, the round 2 matchup of Miami and Purdue and Texas and Gonzaga. I don't know. This feels like a little bit more of a toss-up. I feel like Miami could come out on top of this and end up, maybe in the Elite Eight as I'm looking at these teams that are left. I mean, any thoughts here, TK?
Got a two-tone upset in this one. Texas is going to get Gonzaga, I feel. Definitely think the Longhorns are going to be able to outlast the Bulldogs today. I definitely think the Hurricanes can get an edge up on the Boilermakers, too. I'm going to take them to win it as well. I didn't really see too much on the Purdue Queens game to say that, Miami is going to struggle greatly against this team. I mean, sure, it should be a good game, should be very competitive. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think Miami is going to take this one. Okay. As for Gonzaga Bulldogs, I do not think they are as dominant as yesteryear's teams. To only beat a school like Kennesaw State by 9 points. Granted, you got the job done. It wasn't really as close as it seemed. It wasn't, down to the wire or anything of that nature. Mm-hmm. But still, Kennesaw State, a very new face to March Madness. They shouldn't have been as close as they were, I don't think. I definitely think with Texas beating BYU, that BYU squad was pretty decent, outside of AJ Dybansa, of course, who was the big fish, and they were able to take care of them. So, yeah, with this one, I definitely got Texas and Miami taking care of business
today. Okay. Well, maybe Miami of Ohio can get some revenge against Matt Painter, Purdue, who had some words for them and their scheduling conflicts and things like that. Words for head coach Travis Steele. So now maybe they can watch Miami of Florida take down Purdue and get some, proxy revenge that way. I don't have the video, but Painter had some words. I think a lot of people feel like Travis Steele maybe playing the victim game right now. Nobody will play us. I don't know. I don't know who you believe in here, but whatever. We're going to move on to the Midwest. Doesn't matter. As we talked about, Michigan over Howard on the first day of the tournament, 101-80. They took care of their business. St. Louis beating Georgia big, 102-77. That was one of the more surprising scores. Not necessarily results. Again, the 8-9 matchup could go either way, but didn't expect St. Louis to go out there and win 102-77 for sure. Texas Tech taking care of Akron. Again, an Ohio team goes down, loses by 20. 12 seed, maybe not such a surprise, but still a little disappointing to see all the Ohio teams eliminated right now. And then Alabama, in the first round, not really showing the effects of, one of their stars had some legal troubles last week. We didn't really get a chance to talk about that, but Alabama taking care of business, 90-70 over Hofstra. So I don't know. I mean, I no huge surprises here. I mean, you got the 1 and the 9 seed moving on, the 4 and the 5. I expect Michigan to come out of this bracket unscathed. I don't know, TK. Am I wrong here? Do you have any other thoughts on this one?
Going upset Central again with St. Louis beating Michigan. I just think that the St. Louis team is a bit better than what we think they are. I know the general consensus is that it's just Robbie Avila and a bunch of guys. But I definitely think they have a better team than that. I definitely think we should, think outside the box with this a little bit. And to be quite honest with you, were you really blown away by Michigan's win the other day? I most certainly wasn't. But I definitely think some of these kids on this St. Louis team need to be shown a little bit of love. I thought Deion Brown played pretty well against Georgia. 9 of 10 from the floor, 18 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. Obviously Robbie Avila did his 1-2. He had 12, 5, and 5 with 2 blocks. Want to give a little shout out to Amari McCautry, their big guard. He was solid against Georgia. He had 13 points in 27 minutes. So, I definitely think we should be on upset alert for Michigan. Would not be surprised if they pulled it off. But I'm going to go upset, so I'll take St. Louis in that one.
Okay.
Texas Tech and Alabama is going to be awfully close. I honestly don't know which way to go with this game. But if I was to flip a coin right now, I'd probably go ahead and just go out on a limb and take Texas Tech for the win. Both teams had really big wins the other day. Texas Tech obviously beating Akron. Wasn't much of a game, I don't think. Alabama beating Hofstra. Hofstra got up decent early, but Alabama was able to right the ship and get things taken care of in the second half, and they were able to pull away by 20. But yeah, this Texas Tech Alabama game is definitely going to be something to watch. For right now, just go out on a limb and take Texas Tech. But this is definitely a game that can go either way.
Yeah, I think moving on now, when you see Alabama without Aiden Holloway, who unfortunately may be in a little more trouble than we thought at first. Now, just about an hour ago, it looks like, and I guess coming out in the last 12 hours, but I'm just thinking about in the last hour, it looks like, I mean, not only was there quite a bit of marijuana found in his apartment, but it looks like his phone may have contained some some evidence of some transactions. So that's going to be a different kind of case, unfortunately for him. We have some trouble moving on. I'm not sure how that's going to end up. We'll keep an eye on that. Don't want to speculate on any of that. Everything's allegedly right now. I'm going to say alleged transactions, but we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean, obviously when the contests get a little bit tighter, when the matchups get a little bit more even, you expect to see that start to take effect for Alabama. So yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable to think Texas Tech can move on there as well. Then real quick in the comments, Michael Crawford says, "Do you have winning it all right now?" Like I have Arizona still. I still like Arizona. TK, who do you have winning it all after the first? We've seen the first 2 rounds or the first round happen. We're into the second round. What do you think?
Man.
The Midwest bracket too.
Arizona has a great chance to win it all this year. I think. Of course, we talked about Michigan. A few days ago, possibly being the class of college basketball, but I just took them for an upset alert. So, right now, I think I'm going to go with Arizona. I expect Houston, obviously, the U, to be a couple of the other schools that make a challenge to go to the national championship. But I think Arizona would be the overwhelming favorite right now. So we're gonna have to wait and see how the rest of these games come up because I'm still pretty unsure right now.
Yeah, I'm unsure as well. I like that Arizona's the overwhelming favorite because that was my initial instinct. But you know how these things normally go. The overwhelming favorite very rarely gets it done, especially when they're on a high bracket to get it done. So okay. But I think the best. I mean, honestly, the most entertaining first round game for last. This is the reason I went in this order. So the last part of the Midwest bracket. I just want to talk about this Kentucky Santa Clara. I wish we could show highlights on the show, TK. I really do. The last 20 or 30 seconds of that game, the regulation. I mean, overtime was sort of anticlimactic.
Good, man.
But my goodness, the last few seconds of regulation were wild. Alan Graves goes down and hits a 3 for Santa Clara, right, to put them up 3. You got about 2.4 seconds left. You think Kentucky's absolutely cooked. No. Otega Oweh said, no, we're not doing that. He said, Otega, no way, is what he said. That's dumb. It's the 42, 43-footer off the glass, right? Off balance, off the glass to tie it up and send it to the time where Kentucky's, I think their depth and their talent just got took over. They pulled away from Santa Clara. But, man, 35 points for Oweh in the game. None more important than those 3. that was exciting, man. Like I said, we just don't really get that many. We didn't get that many buzzer beaters this year. We didn't get that much excitement to where I feel like nonstop, wall to wall. Like, okay, we're going to wherever now, Dayton, where somebody's up 3, and you'd get this crazy back and forth. Like the last 45 seconds were wild. So it was fun to see that. That was a fun ending to regulation. Like I said, Kentucky did pull away in overtime and win by 5. But man, how much fun was that, TK?
Oh, it was a crap load of fun. You're watching that 3 go in from Graves, and you're like, oh my goodness, Santa Clara just did it. Yeah. Santa Clara really just did it. And, I believe Santa Clara's head coach motioned for a timeout before that final play happened.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing none of the officials saw him. It wasn't called. So, go ahead and move on. And then the inbound to Otega Owe, he gets the ball at the free throw line with 2.4 left, takes it down, and then, of course, launches the 42-footer.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, man. I just remember thinking to myself, this is no way. There is no way in God's green earth that this is happening right now. There is just no way. Easily the best game of March Madness so far. I feel so deeply for the Santa Clara Broncos. They put together such a valiant effort. Beautiful fight from those young men to be able to come up short against Kentucky. Hey, much love to those guys. They did a wonderful job this year. With that being said, I put Kentucky on fraud alert. They got number 2 Iowa State today. No, I don't think that's going to end pretty well for those guys. Going to take Iowa State for that game. I got to stop thinking about our school. I really do.
Yeah, we're done. We're out.
Yeah. Tennessee, Virginia. Again, we just talked about the Texas Tech Alabama game. Not being able to decide, which way to go. This is another one of those matchups, man. Tennessee looked good against the University of Miami, Ohio. Virginia struggled early against Wright State, but in the back of your mind, you had to feel like these guys are going to figure it out. They're going to ride the ship. They're going to get the win. They're going to do what it takes to do to get to the next round, and that is exactly what they did. They won 82-73. This game's going to be tough. I'm going to go out on a limb and take Virginia.
Okay.
We'll take the higher seed for this game. Again, either way, I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee pulled it off, but I'm going to go with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, for sure. This is where they get harder to pick, and Virginia has some experience and disappointing in that first round. I mean, they're one of the teams to lose as a 1 seed to a 16. So you had to think, even as a 3 seed with Wright State kind of hanging around in the back of their heads, they thought, man, oh no, not again. We can't. You know what I mean? And I know they're not the same players, but man, you got to start thinking in the back of your head that we can't do this again. Okay, so that's pretty much all the day 2 stuff. Obviously, we've got more games. Not as many games, but games going on today and tomorrow. We'll have the Sweet 16 settled by tomorrow evening, so we'll know. I mean, who our Sweet 16 teams are, and a little bit more. Get a couple days of a break and a little bit of a breather, right? Going into the Sweet 16, and we'll figure all that out. We are going to take a quick break on the Inside Edge Network. Before we do, we're going to hear from a couple of sponsors. We got to do that stuff. We got to do the housekeeping stuff, right? Keep our sponsors happy. We always want to do that. But when we come back, we're going to talk really quickly. Time flies, TK. Sometimes, man, it's Saturday morning, we start talking about sports. Time just slips out the window. It's gone. We're almost in an hour already. But that's a good thing. That means we're having fun. So, again, we're going to hear from a couple of sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk about Kyle Whittingham, Michigan head coach Kyle Whittingham. At Utah, was he welcome at Utah? Do they not want him there? Does he get is it ageism? Like, what's going on in Utah? Like, what happened? What did Mark Harlan do?
It's an entire mess in Utah.
A whole mess. It's huge. It's a big mess. I don't know if there's any legal ramifications of any of this stuff, but I know that they're paying. Right now they're paying Kyle Whittingham some money to go away, and not happy about that. Some things came out about what the rest of his tenure could have been like had he stayed at Utah. I don't understand it, but we're going to talk about it. So
they didn't even have to deal with this when Urban Meyer was there.
Yeah,
so I'm sure they're there. I'm sure there's a lot of angered feelings out there right now. So
yeah, unfortunately, that might be. So again, let's hear from a couple sponsors, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Give us 5-6 minutes here on the Inside Edge Network.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com. All right, welcome back. Please, by the way, feel free to visit any of our sponsor websites at any time. If you need some great wedding pictures taken, if you're getting married, please visit Monster Moments and reach out to them. They do a great job. You know who else did a great job at Utah was Kyle Whittingham. Did a pretty good job out at Utah for the Utes. But apparently, athletic director Mark Harlan, TK, is not thrilled right now with Whittingham's exit. It seems like Whittingham wanted to stay at Utah by all. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like so there's a lot coming out, and I'm not sure how to digest all of this. At some point, I think Mark Harlan, the athletic director at Utah, wanted Kyle Whittingham, even though he was the head coach and was going to remain the head coach at Utah, wanted him to give all decision making over to head coach in waiting, defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley. This includes recruiting, hiring coaching staff. So basically, Kyle Whittingham was just going to be the face of the coaching staff at Utah for the Utes, and Morgan Scalley was going to be making the decisions behind the scenes. Whittingham, understandably didn't want any part of that. Seems like maybe after, I don't know if it was, I'm not sure, TK. I don't know the order of these things. I'm trying to look into all this. This is something I'm just reading about this morning. Now Mark Harlan has sent an email. Basically, they're going to pay Whittingham his money. I think they owe him like $13 million over a certain amount of time. Is part of his whatever, for leaving. They still owe him some money. They're going to pay him. They're not going to fight it right now. This is a weird situation. I mean, this is just a lot of animosity. Is this why Kyle Whittingham left and went to Michigan, or would he be at Utah if it wouldn't be for the Morgan Scalley situation? TK, does this make any sense to you? Any of this?
No, it makes absolutely zero sense to me, to be quite honest. It makes zero sense that he is at a university that he more than likely doesn't even want to be at. Granted, they did give him a 5-year contract worth $42 million. He has an extra $13.5 million coming over the next 3 years. The athletic director said he wanted to divide that up into 3 years, but kind of a Dan Gilbert-esque letter that he wrote to Whittingham in response to this decision. But none of this makes any sense at all. Especially after leading a program for 21 years. He has been all that they have known since the departure of Urban Meyer. Yeah. And they have been a solid program ever since. Sure, you mix your few bad years in there. But it's the University of Utah. Who the hell is really going to Utah to play football? Not very many people.
Not a blue blood. If you remember, they competed with Ohio State in the Rose Bowl with running backs playing at defensive back. Let's give them a little bit of credit. I think people dismissed that. Like, Ohio State beat Kyle Whittingham in the Rose Bowl. Who cares? They beat running backs.
Didn't have anybody.
48-45. I mean, yeah. Let's credit, right?
You definitely got to give them some credit. Yeah. But man, this whole situation just screams lack of communication.
Yeah.
People didn't communicate that well at all. I definitely give Kyle Whittingham a bit of flack for not making his feelings known good enough. Because I really don't see how you leave a university after 21 years of running it, and especially after one of your best seasons in recent memory. I mean, they went 10-2, 10-3. So I leave to go to Michigan. I understand, another solid football program. They were 9-3 this year. I want to say 9-3, 9-4, something like that. Obviously, with the struggles of freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood, thought that may have been a fun experiment for him to try to conduct. See if he can get this kid on the right track and playing the way that they need him to play for the amount of NIL money that they gave this young man to attend the university. So yeah, this whole thing is just weird. I definitely think Kyle Whittingham is with the idea of, hey, look, I'm here now. This wasn't necessarily what I had planned to do, but I am in a decent situation. Granted, I'm making a lot of unnecessary drama with this new situation that I have. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna win some games here in Ann Arbor, and run me that 14 million.
There you go. Hey, listen, pretty scathing letter from AD Mark Harlan to Kyle Whittingham. A lot of play about a lot of maybe incendiary language. He brought out the Fourth Amendment. That was weird. But listen, you can write me almost anything you want if you're going to start the letter with this sentence. Enclosed, please find a check for $8,013,808.20. You can say whatever you want about me. You're going to send me an $8 million check. Say it, get it off your chest. Say it with your whole chest. Say it loud. Use capital. I don't care. You're going to send me an $8 million check. You can say whatever you want about me. So
you could sing the most egregious Negro spiritual to me in my face for $8 million damn dollars.
Hey, listen, we're struggling out here, right? The ability to pay bills for more than just a few years would
yes.
easily soften the blow of some of those words to me. So
yes.
Anybody, if you're watching out there, if you see this anytime, if you just say anything, you would just send me an $8 million check. Say whatever you want about me. Just leave my family. Just say things about me and send me $8 million. We're all good. We're all good. So yeah, that was a weird situation. And then one final thing that I want to talk to you about, TK, before we have to get out of here. We got to go. Man, Logan Allen had a start against the Seattle Mariners in training. It's concerning, to say the least. When you talk about one of your guys that you're depending on to be one of the stalwarts of your starting rotation for a team that's trying to take down the Detroit Tigers, and you want to win the AL Central again, and one of your starting pitchers goes out. We're 5 days before, less than a week before the season, and puts out a start like this. And again, I get it. Spring training is the time to work on things. You want to. Some guys go out there and, hey, I'm going to throw 35 sliders today in 2 innings or whatever, and that's all I'm throwing. I don't care. Greg Maddux was famous for that. But Logan Allen went 2 1/3 innings against Seattle, TK, in the spring training start. Gave up 14 hits, 12 earned runs, struck out 2, walked 2. I guess the positive here, he only gave up 2 home runs. But 14 hits in 2 1/3 innings has to make you feel just a little queasy, a little uneasy, a little less than breezy. That's the last rhyme I have. That was bad. I'm sorry. But you got to feel bad going into the start. You're going into the start of the regular season with Logan Allen, who just gave up 12 runs in less than 3 innings at the start. Granted, Seattle's a pretty offensive-minded team. They can hit the ball a little bit. Got Cal Raleigh out there. They're fine. They got plenty of guys in that lineup that can hit.
Right.
Doesn't that make you feel just a little bit, it doesn't give you the good feels going into the regular season, right?
Son, this was a nightmare performance by every stretch of the imagination. I understand that this is preseason baseball.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this late into spring training with April around the horizon.
Yeah.
The severity in which Logan Allen got his tits pounded off last night at Progressive Field. There has to be some sort of worry, some type of concern somewhere. I know that there has to be anguish all throughout that building at Progressive Field after the performance which we saw last night. To get your tits thoroughly waxed the hell off in a spring training game, it's scary. And this guy is supposed to be your third starter. Yes, I understand you're going against the home run champ in Cal Raleigh. He was absolutely amazing last year. You have a multitude of men on that roster that can literally smack the ball deep at any given moment. 14 hits in less than 3 innings. That is damn near a federal offense in Major League Baseball. I don't think that requires a send down. I think that requires send the hell on, and let's try to move on from this, because I just
Not over one game.
Take a dump on that kid after just one damn performance. Yeah, I get it. The severity of the tit poundage was horrible. It's spring training, but my goodness, I mean, 14 hits in less than 3. That's scary. 14 hits to be surrendered. Period.
Baseball's a humbling game. It's a humbling game. What if I had some good news for you? What if I said it didn't happen at Progressive? It happened in Goodyear. Does that make it any better? If it happens out west, does it really even happen? West Coast sports are weird. By the way, Raul said, "Is Len Barker available?" Please, yeah, let's get him out there. Why not? I mean, hey, yeah.
Well, yeah, man. This has to stick with him. This has to be something that he goes over. I know it's a preseason game; it doesn't count. To give up 14 hits, and to give up 14 hits in a span of 2 games would be looked at, let alone 1 game.
Yeah,
you got smoked in less than 3 innings. So we got to talk. We have to talk extensively.
You hope it's just spring training, and like I said, you hope it's just him working on things. Maybe he went out there with a certain, in the back of his head, hey, I'm working on one location only, working on just 2 pitches. I'm going to go fastball, whatever it is. Sometimes that can happen, right? Baseball is a weird, humbling game, man. You can go out, and trust me, I've been there. You can go out and warm up in the bullpen and go, man, my stuff is electric right now. I'm hitting my spot. I feel like I'm throwing 95. And before you know it, you're sitting on the bench in the second inning going, what happened? I mean, am I out of this game already? And then sometimes you can't even find your catcher in the bullpen, and somehow you get through 7 innings of shutout ball, and you thought baseball's a weird game, man. But yeah, that's a little concerning. I would imagine that's probably his last start heading into the regular season, which starts this Thursday, opening day. The 26th is insane. The ball's opening day is this week. We're looking at baseball pretty soon. Spring, it's baseball. The home opener is coming up. I'm concerned about the weather for the home opener. That they won't get into that until April, but that doesn't make any difference. We've actually the Guardians, well, they were the Indians at the time. We've seen them get snowed out here at the home opener and have to go to Milwaukee to make it up to play a home. That was wild. So listen, I don't know. Weird things happen in baseball, TK. 14 hits, 12 runs is alarming for one of your again, one of the stalwarts of your starting rotation. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on that going forward. Hopefully it doesn't come out that he's got some arm problems or something going on. Hopefully it was just him working on things. But listen, we're all working on things, right? We're all doing something. So we're gonna have to get out of here. We've surpassed our welcome here. We're over an hour. I can't believe it. Just an hour flies by talking about sports, man. But listen, enjoy all the March Madness stuff today. The games should be on pretty soon here. I don't know when they start today, actually.
St. Louis and Michigan is on right now.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they'd start around noon. So there you go. St. Louis, Michigan. You got all, we're going to find out. And today and tomorrow, we'll find out who our Sweet 16 is. So not only that, coming up later today, I think we've got an episode of Real Talk with Papa Moon. And then tomorrow, TK, you, I, and Ryan Monster will be back. I think Ryan's feeling better now. I think he's got a voice. If not, to fully understand American Sign Language, he'll bring the whole show to you in sign language if his voice isn't back.
You learned that quick?
Hey, he's a quick learner, man. I would never count him out, man. He developed the whole algorithm for all the NFL prospects. I would never. I would not be surprised if Ryan Monster showed up tomorrow and had a full understanding of American Sign Language and even had made up a few words. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So, we already know he knows how to tell us we're number one. It's one of those fingers under here. I can't remember which one it is, but we'll figure that out tomorrow on Inside Edge on the Sunday Sports Show, and then tomorrow night we get the main event with, of course, Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, Robertson. Eli's going to make it back. He's in Texas right now. I think he'll make it back for that episode. He may look a little jet lagged and tired, but he'll be there. So maybe we'll find out. But again, thank you guys for being with us today. Remember to follow us. Before we get out of here, I'll bring up that screen again. You can find us on all socials. We're at Inside Edge Net. Please remember to visit our sponsor, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Fanatics, you've got the QR code right up in the corner of the screen. If you're going to buy anything from Fanatics, use that QR code. Sportsmemorabilia.com, Mosser Moments, Dubby.gg, Dubby Energy Drinks. All of our sponsors, we appreciate them. We quite literally couldn't do this without our sponsors and without you, our listeners and our viewers, and we appreciate you guys out there. So please follow us on social media and help us grow, help us bring you better content, and help us figure out why Logan Allen gave up 300 runs in less than we don't know what happened. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, plenty of programming coming up today, but we'll see you tomorrow on the Sunday Sports Show. TK and I will with Ryan Mosser. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you. Have a good Saturday.